Well, good Saturday morning, everyone. Greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland. Yeah, we are having a few technical difficulties today. Hang on 2 seconds here. Yeah, the regular webcam appears to be down using the backup on the laptop. So yeah, getting a little bit of a late start, but here we go. We are at it. It's a busy one today, and I hope your Saturday is off to a great start. Nice here in the mid-Michigan area. A little chilly. We got a little snow overnight just to dust everything up that's already ice covered. So it's a little slippery, but the sun's out. It's going to be a typical nice winter day here. So we're going to enjoy it, and we hope that you do as well. Let's see a couple of quick good mornings. Then I got to dive into it. I got a lot of stuff to get through here today, so we will do what we can here. Chuck saying good morning. Good morning, sir, and thank you for being here. Jennifer, good morning to you, as well as Betty from Toledo. Sunny and cold. Yeah, here too. Sean saying good morning. The new Marley movie is awesome and a must-see. Cool. All right. There should be some soundtrack. The new Bob Marley movie. Good to know, Sean. Hey, Sean, by the way, there's a Prince album coming out next Friday. Watch our upcoming release show this afternoon. We'll talk about it, and we'll have that on there. Abby saying good morning, and good morning, Abby, and Pat as well. Pat is in the Atlantic Ocean representing. I saw he had his Radio Wasteland Records t-shirt on in the tropics. So yeah, any sales that come our way from that, Pat, we'll take care of you. Ryan, let's see, Ryan saying yes. Oh, very much appreciated, Ryan. Thank you. It's a fun one for us as well. And happy Saturday to you, West Side. Rick, chilling in Grand Rapids. Yeah, everywhere pretty much. And Dan, happy sunny day as well. And Jim, a little south of us, happy Saturday. And good Saturday to you too as well. All right, so big stuff this week. As we had mentioned, the Record Store Day list is out. Let me call that up here. We've got our little Record Store Day thing kicking it. So yeah, the list was released on Thursday, kind of right around where I figured it would be. Hopefully you've had a chance to get at least a first look at it. And if not, maybe spend some time this weekend digesting it, because that's what I'm going to be doing. It is a huge list, nearly 400 titles. I think it's like 380 something by my count on our order sheets. And now some of those are going to be CDs or LPs, a couple of different versions of the same. But regardless, it is a huge list. And there is a lot of stuff for a lot of people on there. As is our tradition, we're kind of putting out the feelers for a wish list, something that helps us when we order these. And these orders are going to be due here coming up, I think, by the 27th or 28th. So that's why we've got kind of a rush. You guys got just over a week to let us know. But the wish list is exactly just that. For the uninitiated, you cannot hold, order, pre-order, reserve, whatever the case, a Record Store Day release. They will be sold on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, from the record store side of things, that's always kind of a gamble for us, because we're trying to guess what it is that our customers would like us to try to get a hold of. So we kind of put in, and a lot of record stores do this, they put out this thing for a wish list. You tell us what you'd like us to try to get, and it's not even a guarantee that we're going to get it, by the way. Some of them are huge releases. Some of them are very, very limited. It really is kind of a roll of the dice, and we do what we can to get them. But to help guide us into deciding how much and what to order of how much of each, we put this wish list out. Now, normally it would be a thread on Facebook, and I just kind of put that out there. But there's a lot of folks that don't use Facebook, and we go with the comments. But as it gets busier and busier here at the store, and I increase every year after that, I miss a few things here and there. So just to kind of alleviate that, Kim, through the goodness of her heart and the skills of her working knowledge, has set up a Google document. It's a little form that you can fill out and put into the system that will give us a good readout and printout of the stuff that you'd like. Right now, it's got 15 spaces. And Chuck, if you need more than 15 RSDs, start another one. But the form was linked on our Facebook page. It is pinned up there right now. You can click it. It's a Google Doc. It doesn't go anywhere but to us here at the store. Your email, your name is not being sold or anything like that. Trust me, I'm very sensitive to that, because we get so much telemarketing crap in here and so many calls. I'm very, very attuned to not letting that happen to you folks. So it's just for our purposes. We want to see the names attached, and we want the titles. So as you go through that Google Doc, you can put your name in, and then there's one box for each of the titles that you would like us to try to get. Now, we're going to do our best to get them, but I'd also like you to think, don't just toss stuff on that list will-nil, because we're using that as a buying guide. And if you put some stuff on there with no intention of buying it, that kind of leaves us in a lurch at the at the tail end of this. So think that through. But we'll gladly put stuff in. There's already been a few folks contacting me about some odd stuff that they want to try to get, and we'll be more than happy to try to get it, just as long as you guys want to grab it on the back end of this. So again, if it's more than 15, God bless you. But yeah, you go ahead and start a second form for that. And you can always submit a couple of other things there too. But think your stuff through. You've got 10 days. I think we put the cap on this on the 26th. So a little under that now, 9 days before we have to have the stuff in for you to submit. Now, for you non-Facebook users, you can contact me here at the store or send an email to jim@radiowastelandrecords.com, and I will put the link into an email and send that to you so we can go that way, because I know not everybody uses Facebook. And those of you who may have wandered in from Instagram, the Instagram technical difficulties continue. I can still post to that, but I cannot respond easily to Instagram messages, and I cannot get into Instagram proper. I can only see it through the Facebook thing. So that's where we stand. Now, as far as the list goes, it is huge. Take your time to go through it. Normally, we'll do some sort of a special on that, but we're going to combine that with the podcast. So on this Sunday's podcast with Steve Carlson, our two guys talking about records, Vinyl Community Podcast, Steve and I will take a deep dive into the list and talk about some of the things that we think are going to be the highlights, some of the things that we think are going to be the most popular, some of the things that we're looking for. And most importantly, we will cover the pressing numbers, how many of something is going to be pressed. And even more important than that, we're going to cover the suggested retail prices for these. So if you have questions, feel free to contact me about a specific item. But I'd also encourage you to check out our podcast. It'll upload to the YouTube channel, and it is on Spotify and iHeartRadio. And we'll do our best to answer some questions there, but do a deep dive for probably close to 45 to 50 minutes about this year's list. So that's coming up Sunday evening on the podcast, Two Guys Talking About Records, a Vinyl Community podcast. Okay, now as teased, every year we design a new poster for Record Store Day, and you guys are great. They've become collectible for some folks. You've been collecting them for a few years. In the past, our daughter Katie has designed these year after year, and they've always been very cool, but she's kind of gone off. She's in Wisconsin. She's being busy, being a student, doing her thing. And we've kind of fallen upon my old skills, and that's skills with a small z, by the way. My old skills in design, I got some degrees in that, to put this together. So here it is. Without any further ado, let's take a look at our Record Store Day poster for 2024. I should note, however, the inspiration came from the Record Store Day date of 4/20. And I would have laid odds. I seriously would have laid odds that the Record Store Day ambassador would have been Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, and or some combination of Cheech and or Chong with the 4/20 thing. So I took some inspiration from that, not being a user, but took some inspiration from that to create, drum roll, please, this year's Radio Wasteland Records Record Store Day 2024 poster. We are celebrating some Record Store Day madness that's coming up in April. So we are in the process of having a bunch of these suckers printed out. We'll put them up here in the store. If you are a local business here in the Midland area or Auburn, Freeland, Bay City-ish, and you'd like to put one of these up for us, just contact us. And of course, we'd be happy to get you one. And otherwise, we'll have some extras, as always, for those of you who think that these are fun or cool or whatever, and you want to put them up there. But yeah, this is this year's Record Store Day madness. And there you go. But we'll have these posters hopefully by the end of next week or so. We'll have some physical ones that will be going out for that. So again, that is where we go. Now, design wise, if you're curious, the majority of the imagery in there is artificial intelligence. I asked AI to create a Record Store Day madness thing with the imagery of reefer madness. And we just kind of went from there. So let me catch up on a few comments on this, and we will kick into this. So let's see. We have Rick saying cool. Thank you for that. Paul saying good morning. Hey, Paul from Saginaw. Ryan saying very cool. Thank you. Let's see. Ryan's very cool. Dan is checking in. Jordan, any one of those posters, we will have some extra ones, sir. And saying as well. Pat's saying the gimme. I know you collect those, Pat, as well. So that will be actually kind of cool. So that's what we have got going on there. Let me kick to a few more comments here. And yeah, pardon me. I'm a little let's see. Bruce saying good morning, as well as DK from Green Bay checking in. And let's see. Jeff grooving on the flyer. Appreciate that, as well as Betty saying great poster. Okay, well, cool. Thank you guys very much for that. All right. So that's happening there. Record Store Day. We're caught up on that. Let's get into a few new releases. Before that, though, just to mention that we do finally got a few more Audio-Technica LP60Xs in stock. I've got both the silver model and a black model in stock. They are ready to go. If you've been looking for one, or you know someone that has, we've had a couple people order them and they've been contacted, and we still do have a couple in store and ready to go for you. So that is there as well. Okay, new release wise, again, I want to remind you guys to check out our new release show later on this afternoon on YouTube and Facebook. You can catch up to next week's releases. By the way, I forgot to mention as well, with regards to Record Store Day and the not nonsense, but just the wonderful stuff that happens in and around RSD. Taylor Swift, if you have not heard, has announced the release of a new album the day before Record Store Day. The 19th, it's going to drop. For you Swifties out there, I have no details on it yet. It has not hit our distributors, only been announced. We'll keep an eye out for it. I imagine it will be big. There's probably going to be mega big box store versions and an indie store version and a, you name it version. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of them out there. So stay tuned to our channels and we will update you when we hear more of that. One other thing, and we'll talk about this on the podcast tomorrow with Steve, one of the Record Store Day releases is a new Pearl Jam album. And then this was announced also as the new Pearl Jam on the 19th, the day before Record Store Day. And I thought, okay, what gives here? So as it turns out, and I have had some questions on this, the new Pearl Jam album is indeed releasing the day before Record Store Day on black vinyl. And then on Record Store Day proper, there is a Pearl Jam release of that same album on an indie exclusive or limited edition RSD colored vinyl. So it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this plays out. I don't know how many people are going to want the black vinyl version unless you're a Pearl Jam purist and you want everything. You're going to grab that cool Record Store Day one is my guess. Not continue, but it could be my guess. So stay tuned. We'll have much more information on that. All right, very quickly, some new releases from yesterday. Got a couple copies of Granddaddy's new one called Blue Wave. It is what it says it is. I listened to some of this online. Granddaddy has found a way to combine bluegrass and new wave. And they make it work. So we have got a copy of Blue Wave from Granddaddy, a couple of them on Nebula vinyl, according to that. Finally got a Mazzy Star in. So tonight that I might see on colored vinyl, RSD Essential. We got one copy of that left. On to the bootlegs. Man, did we get some bootlegs this week? Don't know how I feel. I'm still on the ethical side of things. Buckethead. I'm always getting requests for Buckethead. Now we have two Buckethead albums in. Colma and Crime Scene Slunk. Those are out and ready to go. Speaking of boots, we got some Tool Live that came in. A Motley Crue release, Supersonic and Demonic Relics from the Crew. A couple copies of that. An Ozzy album that I, quite frankly, have never heard of. It is down to earth. I will do some more research. It's just, I don't know why and how this Ozzy album slipped by me, but that is a boot as well. We got a Buckingham Nicks and Alabama 1975 live boot from them, and an unofficial copy of the Buckingham Nicks album proper. So all of those on the shelf. Feel free to stop on by, check us out, and see from there. We are at 716 George Street, just north of downtown Midland, and I am up on time today. I need to get the store opened and get on with our day. Thank you to everybody for hanging out and listening and watching this today. Don't forget the new release show coming up a little later on this afternoon. And please don't forget the podcast, Two Guys Talking About Records with our good friend Steve Carlson. Coming up tomorrow evening, we will dive into that Record Store Day list deeply and talk about numbers and prices and preferences. And yes, for those of you curious, there's a couple things on there that I'm thinking very heavily about as well. There's a Dead Milkman, but I've already got that one. We'll see where it goes. But tune into the podcast tomorrow evening and you will catch us from there. Until then, you folks have a great week, and we will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thanks again for being here.